Hi, my name is Kai Armstrong. I'm the product manager for the editor group in the create stage of the DevOps lifecycle at GitLab, and I'm here to talk about the 13.2 release and what we're going to be working on for that. So let me share my screen really quick, and then we'll start jumping through some items. So first up, you're just seeing the board that we use for planning here. What you'll notice is a lot of issues that sort of seem like they're backstage or building up to something. And a lot of that is because what we're going to continue to be working on in 13.2 is multiple file support for snippets. So if you think back a couple releases in 13.0, we released version control for snippets. And so once we did that, the next logical step and the next things we began working on were multiple files. And so um, there's an epic. I'll link that in the video notes below, but you can come to the epic and take a look. There's screenshots of what we expect this to look at, and here's just a couple. So when you're editing a snippet, you'll see that you'll be able to place multiple files. There'll be a button to add additional files. And when that gets rendered out, you might see something like this, where you've got markdown, comments or description of what the snippet does or other things like that. And then you'll see the multiple files rendered out below. So we'll be working on that in 13.2. We were working on it in 13.1. We expect it to take a few more releases to materialize and get to a point where we can start turning bits and pieces of this on or enabling multiple files in certain use cases. So stay tuned to the epic and keep an eye on that. The next feature that I want to talk about, which I'm really excited about, is real-time feedback for editing the GitLab CI YAML file inside of the web IDE. And so the GitLab CI YAML file is a really important configuration file for using CI with GitLab. It tells the CI runners what to do, what jobs to execute, what's tasks and other things need to be executed in each of those jobs, how those results work. It can have build steps, it can have deployment steps, and so all of these things. The downside is that file is really complicated. It's got a lot of different configuration parameters, and you really have to know how each of those different parameters work to make sure that your file's valid. And so inside of the web IDE, we're going to add some linting and kind of real-time feedback capabilities. And I'll link this issue down below in the video notes, but if you take a look at it, there's a link to a demo project. And so this demo project's got a sample Monaco editor that'll load up, and it actually loads the schema that we're going to be using from Schema Store. So Schema Store hosts a variety of schemas for a bunch of different services across the board, and there's a community contributed GitLab CI schema. So we're going to start with that. We'll see if we need to continue building on that or what kind of issues we might run into, but we're going to start with that as a way to sort of prove the concept and see what users think of this. So you can click into this project, you can see how we're defining that, what's loading. And then I thought a quick demo would be cool. And so this is the default template that we have for a Go project. If you were writing a CI file for that, sort of some default things that you might do. And you'll notice that this is perfectly valid. There's nothing interesting in here yet. But if I start typing that, you'll see that it sort of gives me the autocomplete that like stages is probably what I'm looking for because I started typing that, and I can tab to complete that. And then you'll notice that I'm getting these underlying error feedback places. So let me get rid of that line. We'll just take a letter out of here. If we look at this, it'll say, oh, it's an incorrect type, but expected an object. So this will help you while you're writing these files to either autocomplete the stages or the other settings or configuration parameters that you're looking for, and also make sure that this file doesn't have any lines in it when you're done editing it. So we're really excited to add this in the web IDE. We think it'll be very valuable for getting started with your project or when you're making those changes to just make sure that you've got that real-time feedback without needing to commit, copy and paste it into another validator or see what's going on there. So we're let us know what you think of this one once we ship this. And then I'll just finally show you that the schema store JSON that we'll be using is here. You can see everything that's defined. You can also go to store.org, take a look at some of the other JSON schemas they provide. So like I said, the GitLab CI schema is community contributed to this project. We'll look at maybe contributing some additional pieces to it or bringing a version in-house and kind of syncing them back and forth so that way we have the latest versions. But If you're interested in contributing to this project and making sure that that's up to date, you can also, I'll make sure we link that out so you can see what's been done in the past. So we're really excited about GitLab 13.2. We think the path to multiple files for snippets is going to be great, and we think this really solid cross-stage workflow that we're going to have with editing, that GitLab CI file and getting sort of that better editing experience than you would get anywhere else in the GitLab application is going to be really valuable to users. So let us know what you think. I'll link all of this below, but thanks for chatting with us today. We'll see you.